You're watching the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Good evening. Oklahoma City police are now leaving the scene of a reported shooting call. Authorities told Fox 25 the call came in at around 8:30 about a shooting on West Reno at the Mathis Brothers.
Yeah, Mathis Brothers Furniture right there at the corner, of course, I-40 and the Broadway extension, or excuse me, the Lake Havner Parkway. Police evacuating the store in immediate area, looking for any victims or a shooter. Just minutes ago, police telling Fox 25 the shooting call actually was bogus. They searched all around the area. They found no evidence to support the call. Of course, if you saw lots of police and ambulance over there, that was the reason for all that activity.
Now to a developing story in Midwest City. Police say one man is dead tonight after trying to protect his disabled son.
One person is in custody, but they say this case isn't closed. Fox 25's Tom George live on the scene for us tonight with the very latest. Hi to you, Tom.
Well, good evening, Keaton and Chelsea. A very scary and sad situation here in this Midwest City neighborhood after, as you said, that father died protecting his son who was in a wheelchair. Apparently this all happened around 1:30 this morning. The son that was in the wheelchair was inside this house here behind me with someone he knew and some other suspects that were in there. At some point while they were inside, those people began assaulting the man in the wheelchair, knocking him over, tipping him out of his wheelchair. That's when the father apparently stepped in to try and help his son and was killed. Now, we spoke with some neighbors on this street who tell us this has them shocked because this father was always very protective of his son.
Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart, and it scares me because I'm elderly, I'm disabled, and I don't know, my prayers goes out to his family right now. I'm just pretty emotional about it all.
Now, we're told that the son that was in the wheelchair only suffered minor injuries. So far, no word on where he'll be staying or his condition right now. We do know that one person has been taken into custody, but Midwest City Police are still looking for other suspects. Right now, they haven't released any names, though, but of course, we'll continue following this story. But they do say if you have any information, you're encouraged to contact the Midwest City Police. For now, we're live in Midwest City tonight. Tom George, Fox 25 News.
Thanks so much, Tom. A scary situation for one Metro family this evening when a car plowed into their home. Oklahoma City fire officials say it happened just after 6:30 this evening on Southeast 19th Street. Officials say the suspect then fled the scene in his car. The homeowner says it's not a surprise this accident happened.
I stepped out on the porch and called the baby in and set him at the table. Then all of a sudden it was like an explosion. And I thought something had happened to my husband. They drive down the street here like maniacs sometimes. There's a lot of speeders and it's very dangerous right here on this corner.
The suspect was caught just about an hour ago. Officials say no injuries were reported.
Well, we'll pause from the news and check on the weather. Clear Doppler behind us, and holy mackerel, it felt so hot out there, but actually not too far away from average.
Yeah, it felt like a sauna to me personally. It was hot. All right. Fox 25 meteorologist Kyle Roberts has tonight's first forecast.
Well, that's exactly what July in Oklahoma is about. But yes, it's that humidity that's making things a whole lot worse today, feeling like at or above 100 degrees across the entire state. Yet again, this afternoon, average temperatures for most of you in the mid to upper 90s. Now, that hot afternoon's left us with a clear evening out there right now in downtown Oklahoma City. Not a whole lot going on, and that's the way we'll stay overnight tonight. Tomorrow we do it all over again, staying hot and humid, get a feel above 100 degrees for a lot of you, 97 in Oklahoma City. So here's a look at what the heat index is going to do as we head through the day tomorrow. Not going to be too terrible in the morning, obviously, but by the time we hit the mid to late morning hours, it'll already feel like it's in the 90s. And then we're looking for an afternoon heat index above 100. If you have any evening plans, it'll still feel like the upper 90s out there. So coming up here in a few minutes, we'll talk about that heat. It's sticking around for now, and so is the humidity. But I do have a rain and maybe a cold front on the way for next week. It's bringing us a cool down. I'll have the details in the full 7-day forecast coming up.
Kyle, thanks. I take back everything I said about winter. On this hot, hot day, what better thing to do than slide the city? Well, some of the residents thought as hundreds lined up over at Chartel and 8th to go down more than a 100-foot water slide. You imagine it's the thing that you did in the backyard, but you just 100 feet. Participants were given a goodie bag filled with swag and mouth guards for protection. Officials said that rain or shine, the event would go on, and Fox 25's Tom George even got a trip down the slide. What a rough assignment that must have been. In other news, a strong 3.9 earthquake shook near Crescent this morning, and we're already on our way to shattering earthquake records this year. Take a look at some of the numbers that we have here. If we go back to like 2013, for example, about 2,800 total earthquakes. Of those that were 3.0 or above, we had about 104. Of those 4.0, the strong quakes that really could cause some damage, we had 4. Let's go to 2014 and check the numbers out there. 5,400 total quakes across the state. Of those that were 3.0 and above, just over 1,000. And again, looking at those strong and sometimes damaging quakes, the 4.0s, we had 14. When you go back, that was 4. Now we have 14. Let's go to this year. This year, to date, so far, we've had 3,200 quakes. Of those that were 3.0, 500. And take a look at this number versus this number. 14 in 2014, 17 already in 2015, and we're well on our way to a record year for total number of earthquakes. That's for certain. When you look at all of the earthquakes from the beginning of records being kept by the Oklahoma Geological Survey to 2010, it is a fraction of those that we've had since 2010. Of course, we will certainly keep you up to date on the very latest and, of course, the latest in those strong earthquakes we've had in the state.
Oklahoma's senior U.S. Senator Jim Inhofe delivered the GOP weekly web address today. His topic of choice, our country's infrastructure and his push to pass a long-range transportation funding bill through Congress, which could help drivers in our state. Oklahoma City roads were recently ranked among the worst in the nation by the transportation research group TRIP. TRIP's report on Thursday placed Oklahoma City as the 16th worst in the nation for road conditions and the 5th worst when it comes to the cost drivers incur when traveling on our roads. Today, Senator Jim Inhofe took a broader and bipartisan approach to the issue to usher in support for the DRIVE Act, which he says would help the transportation system throughout the country.
There's no such thing as a Republican road or a Democrat road. This issue always transcends the political fights in Washington. Why? Because funding our nation's transportation system is our constitutional responsibility.
Senator Inhofe pointed to the work of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who signed the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956. The bill created more than 40,000 miles of highways, but only had a 50-year lifespan.
Maintaining Eisenhower's vision of economic opportunity and strength in defense requires a continued partnership between the federal government and the states. This is the hallmark of the DRIVE Act.
Political pundits say House leaders of both parties don't have high hopes for the bill, which would authorize funding for 6 years. But Senator Inhofe maintains a long-term solution is what is needed, and that this is the first step in the right direction.
Since 2009, Congress has passed 33 short-term patches. This has resulted in highway dollars being spent only on maintenance and basic tasks, like filling potholes. And it'll signal to job creators that America's economy is not only going to grow, but it's going to be sustained because infrastructure will exist to support it.
The U.S. Senate is scheduled to vote on the DRIVE Act next week.
Oklahoma City fire officials responded to a fire at the Paldora Apartments this afternoon. The fire crews there say the fire was able to only be contained to one room. That's the good news, all on the first floor of the apartment. They say it started in a pile of clothes. The good news, no injuries were reported. Around Oklahoma tonight, we begin in Wagner County, where a woman has died after being mauled by a pack of stray dogs. Authorities are investigating, and residents that live nearby say that some of those dogs are clearly aggressive. Our reporting partner in Tulsa, KTOL, and the reporter Bert Mumolo filed this report.
It happened on this country road. The discolored grass stained with blood, marking the spot.
It's where she was laying at.
A witness says she was already dead when she was first found.
Oh yeah, she was dead. She wasn't breathing. You can look at her and tell that she wasn't breathing.
About 7 o'clock this morning, I got up and shot at like 4 or 5 dogs.
Annette Panter lives just down the street and has frequently encountered aggressive stray dogs. So much so, she always carries a gun.
I always do when I mow, because if it's not that, it's coyotes and different things. So I just shot at them again yesterday.
Being as isolated as it is, she says, people routinely abandon dogs here.
This is where everybody drops dogs off.
But what can we do? If you start shooting dogs down here, then you're going to get in trouble for animal cruelty, you know? So you can't get rid of them, you can't shoot them, you can't do nothing about it.
Concern now turns to the safety of area children.
My heart first thought of those kids.
Yeah, I mean, I got 6 kids.
Worry in Redbird, praying a roadside tragedy doesn't happen again.
I just, you know, God bless her soul that this happened, because I wouldn't want this to happen to anyone.
Bert Mumolo reporting for us there. A big shift to tell you about tonight in the way Oklahomans elect their leaders. Registered independents now can vote in Democratic primaries in the state. That vote coming today from the party at their state convention. Independents are the fastest growing political party in our state. Before today's vote, only Democrats could vote in a Democratic primary. Same went for Republican primaries.
The state will look into greater transparency at the Association of County Commissioners. It's one of the interim studies approved by the House Speaker this year. The executive director of the group was fired earlier this year amid allegations of misconduct inside the organization.
Well, after setting an all-time record for passenger traffic last year, Will Rogers World Airport is seeing fewer passengers than this time last year. According to data from the Bureau of Transportation, traffic down at the airport about 3%. Experts point to low gas prices as one of the reasons that traffic may be down. Will Rogers had 1.8 million passengers last year.
The Perez twins headed home today from OU Medical Center. The formerly conjoined twins are leaving 3 weeks after a rare separation surgery. On July 8th, a team of around 20 physicians, nurses, and staff carefully separated the girls on a single operating table.
Excitement, relief, you know, they get to be in their own little environment instead of a hospital environment, which not that they've had bad care, but they've had great care, but we want to get them in their home where they're going to be.
And some good news. The medical team says the baby girls are doing great so far and have high hopes for their future. The last set of conjoined twins separated at the Children's Hospital was in 2009. There are only about 1,100 tickets left for the OKC St. Jude Dream Home. Today was a family fun day at the Dream Home, which was filled with food and games. Tickets for the St. Jude Dream Home are $100, and proceeds benefit the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You can call 1-800-592-1596 to buy your tickets.
On Monday, we brought you the story of a little girl with a big heart. She spent most of her life over at OU Med because of a rare bone and joint disorder.
Fox 25 photojournalist Colleen Wilson was with her today on her 7th birthday, and she had one wish: to bring as many stuffed animals as possible to other children staying at OU.
When we first got here, there were 2 Jeeps. Within about 5 minutes, right now there's probably about 30 Jeeps. I don't even know where to start. I'm shocked. Seeing them all in a line, it's amazing, and there's still more coming. I thought that it was something that would kind of pass. I didn't think that, you know, because no presents, no birthday party, I thought that eventually it would pass, but I think it's amazing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, she couldn't believe it. She still can't. She can't stop walking around.
There you go.
I want to say thank you to everybody who's helped. Everybody from different states who's donated animals.
Great story and great work by our photojournalist, Colleen Wilson. All across the nation today, people have taken to social media to post their videos for National Dance Day, including some here in the Metro. I don't know, every day is National Dance Day for me, isn't that right? Now, the Children's Center Rehabilitation Hospital took part in this year's festivities. You can see there, patients, employees, and volunteers got together to make the video you see there. The hospital serves children with complex medical and physical disabilities. They even have what's called the Grace Dance Program, and it's designed just for the patients. National Dance Day falls on the last Saturday of July each year. Coming up, celebrating the life of Sandy Bland. As family and friends lay her to rest, new evidence in the investigation is released, what her family is now asking for.
Tried, convicted, and sentenced to a 30-year life sentence. Why there's a chance Jonathan Pollard could be released next month.
We're learning more about the victims and where the shooter got his gun in the Louisiana theater shooting. I'm Will Carr, and I'll have the details coming up.
Plus, severing ties with the American market. Why Mitsubishi is closing its plant in Normal, Illinois.
And up front at 9:30, a British Parliament member in Oklahoma, her biggest takeaways from the Sooner State. We're back in 90 seconds.
Hair services for the Fox 25 News provided by Salon W at 7304 Northwestern.